Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Tempe Housing Authority meeting agenda. Item number 1 is call to order. Number 2 here I'll move on to is call to the audience. The Housing Authority Board welcomes public comment at this time only for items listed on this agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. I don't have any comment cards here in front of me, but I will look to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council this evening? All right, seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Let's go to item number 3, approval of City of Tempe Housing Authority meeting minutes for January 26th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Board Member Chin and seconded by Board Member Keating. Let's see if we can get to the voting here. You know, I'll just do a voice vote. That'll be easier. Board Member Navarro?
Aye.
Board Member Chin?
Aye.
Board Member Keating? Yes. Board Member Hodge? Aye. And I vote aye as well. That item passes 5-0 with Board Member Garland and Board Member Adams absent.
Mr. Mayor, we also have resident.
Oh, and Mr. Drummond, that's right. Thank you, Kara. Board Member Drummond? Yeah, mute.
That's an aye, Mayor.
Thank you. So sorry about that. That item actually, I should say, passes 6-0 with Board Member Garland and Board Member Adams absent. That moves us to item number 4, our public hearing items. The only item under this section is 4A, which is to hold a public hearing to obtain citizen comment pursuant to federal law and adopt a resolution approving the City of Tempe Housing Authority's Public Housing Agency Streamlined Annual Plan for fiscal year 2023-2024 and related certifications for the Housing Choice Voucher Program funded through the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. The PHA Annual Plan serves as Tempe's application for funding for the HCV program and includes information regarding the city goals, objectives, policies, and programs. The resolution also approves revision to the Tempe Housing Agency Administrative Plan template and policies and acceptance of additional housing choice vouchers that may become available from HUD. Does staff want to make a comment on this item? Okay. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, were any comments received from the public regarding this item or any requests to speak?
None for this item.
Okay, I will close the public hearing portion. See, board members, any comments or discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to adopt resolution number THA R2023.01.
So moved.
It's been moved by Board Member Hodge.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member Chin. I'll do another voice vote here. Board Member Navarro?
Aye.
Board Member Drummond?
Aye.
Board Member Chin?
Aye.
Board Member Hodge?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. That item passes 5-0 with Board Members Keating, Garland, and Adams absent. Next up, item number 5, Housing Authority Governing Board updates. Item 5A is Housing Authority Governing Board quarterly update for the quarter ended March 31st, 2023. I'm looking at Irma Hollenby-Kane, our Deputy Human Services Director for Housing, if you'd like to come forward and give us an update.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, Mr. Chang. Again, my name is Irma Hollenby-Kane, and joining me today is Sherry Rico, Housing Manager for the Housing Services Division. And we're here today to give an update as to what housing has been up to over the last quarter. All right, the data over the next couple of slides is specific to the Housing Authority's performance and actual data as of January of 23. So HUD contracts with the City of Tempe with a budget amount referred to as budget authority and an allocation of vouchers, and we track our performance in both of these. If I may turn your attention to the bottom left of the slide, you are accustomed to seeing numbers far greater than what you're seeing today, to the tune usually of about $11 million in budget authority and spend around 98 to a little in excess of 100% of spend. And the reason for this is a reset in January. HUD funds us on a calendar year basis. So essentially what you're seeing there is that in 1 month of budget of authority to the Tempe Housing Authority, we earn $914,068,000, and we are on track to spend 81.88% of that money. And the reason for the 81.88% is because we got a little bit of a raise in January as well. Oh, I'm sorry. So if I may turn your attention to the top right of the slide, we have 1,109 vouchers allocated to our city. 867 are currently leased up in the private market for a leasing rate of 78.18%. That is an increase of 48 lease-ups since I was before you in January. We attribute this increase in lease-ups to payment standard increases that you authorized effective in January, so we're able to pay higher rents on behalf of our program participants. To further bring home this point, I'm showing you a slide of average per unit costs. The graph all the way to the left of the slide is what I presented to you back in July of 22. The graph in the middle is October of 22, and then all the way to the right is January. And so you can see quarter over quarter, our per unit costs are increasing. The two graphs that you see in front of you compare Tempe's performance with the average performance of all Arizona housing authorities. Tempe is on the left, and the balance of the state of Arizona is on the right. If I may turn your attention to the blue highlight, you will see our leasing performance compared to the balance of state. Ideally, all of us housing authorities would be leasing at the rate of about 95 to 98% of our vouchers. Now, if I may turn your attention to the green highlight, this is our attrition rate or our turnover rate. So in the city of Tempe, 10.96 vouchers turn over on average. And what I mean by turnover is these are folks that are no longer participating in the program, maybe due to graduating as they are over income for our program, or maybe someone has passed away, or maybe they've been removed from the program for not following all of the rules and regulations. Now, another interesting note that I want to point out to you is on the right side of the graph, you'll see that number, 25,040. That's the number of housing choice vouchers available to the entire state of Arizona. And just for your information, Washington, a state similar in size in population to the state of Arizona, has 62,000 vouchers allocated to that state. I just share this with you to give you insight about how few vouchers the state of Arizona has allocated to it and why it's so important that we maximize our program capacity to assist as many families as possible with the vouchers that we do have. In other news from the Housing Authority, our housing navigator, shout out to Michelle Ramage, she is tasked with helping or assisting program participants in the housing services programs and even the general public in their search for safe, decent, and sanitary housing within our jurisdictional boundaries. During the period of October of 22 through March of 23, Michelle assisted 500 clients in their housing search. Regarding our family self-sufficiency programming, the Tempe Housing Authority currently has 45 active family self-sufficiency participants, 36 of whom are earning escrows totaling $128,825. The Tempe Housing Authority dispersed about a little bit over $4,636 in escrow to one graduate back in September of 22, and an additional disbursement is being made for $8,000 this month. Fiscal year disbursement totals did equal $52,855.92 to 7 graduates. And finally, as you've heard me a couple of times already talk about, the Tempe Housing Authority opened up its waitlist for the Housing Choice Voucher Program from February 28th through March 13th. And during this time, we received nearly 10,000 applications. Sherry Rico is here to talk to you a little bit about who applied and from where they applied.
Good evening. As Irma said, we had nearly 10,000 people apply online through our portal. Of those 10,000, 8,600 were accepted into our system, our housing system, and the reason for the difference is either duplicate applications or folks who were over income when they applied. And you can see the breakdown on the screen of some of the demographics related to our the folks that actually applied. 43% were one-person households, 57% were families. We had 10% where the head of household was elderly, and 31% where the head of household was disabled. The majority of our single head of households are female, at 78%, And the average household income is a little under $26,000 for those that had applied. We received, because of HUD's rules, we can't say only folks from Arizona can apply. So of the 8,600 applications that we received, I lost my place. Sorry.
We lotteried for 3,000?
Yes, sorry. We lotteried, and we did a lottery, and we only accepted 3,000 of the 8,600 that applied. Out of that, 2,408 were from Arizona. And the rest were from, all around the country. We had even someone from Puerto Rico apply to our housing. The top 8 states are there. Illinois with over 100, California 85, New York 75, Michigan's 37, and the rest that are shown there each had about 25 applicants that were accepted onto our waiting list. We have sent out letters to everyone, all 8,600 that applied, to let them know if they were accepted or not. Should I talk about this? Okay. So of the folks that applied, the 8,600 that applied, 6,900 were from Arizona and 1,100 were from the city of Tempe. And 1,700 were from out of the state. Of those accepted onto our waiting list through the lottery, 2,400 were from Arizona and 385 were from Tempe, with 591 being from out of state.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're very welcome.
All right, so a quick update from the Tempe Coalition for Affordable Housing. A joint meeting will be held by the City Council and the Tempe Coalition for Affordable Housing Board on June 20th, and I'll look forward to providing you a more complete update at that time. This concludes our housing update, and we are available for any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Anyone have any comments or questions? Councilmember Hodge?
Yes, thank you. You know, this is near and dear to my heart. I just want to ask you, when we were talking about the percentage of how many housing we have in our city, what is that compared to other cities around us? So how much percentage of housing vouchers do we give versus maybe percentage to Phoenix or Scottsdale? Are we in the top percentage of that or the bottom? I'm just curious to know where we stand as the city of Tempe.
Mayor, Councilmember Hodge, intuitively speaking, we're about a mid-size, with the 800-pound gorillas being Tucson and Phoenix. I am happy to come back with that type of information, however.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this time.
Thank you.
When I do that, I'm going to ask you another question, so you can add this to it. I would like to break down the demographics of people who got, where are they coming? What are they African American? Are they Native American? Are they Hispanic? Because it makes a difference of who we're bringing into our community too. Also, because I want to see just as much diversity as possible. So I'm wondering, was something that do we have percentages on? Look at that smile. So please tell me.
Mayor Woods, Councilmember Hodge, we absolutely have that information available, and I'd be happy to share that with all council members offline.
Thank you so much. And I just appreciate everything that you do, and let's just keep going.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Any further comments or questions?
Yes.
Yes, Board Member Drummond.
Yes. I was just looking at the number of people that you have that applied from out of state, and I didn't realize that it was such a large number. Are the people that you are considering transferring their voucher from another location, or are they brand new applicants that got in on a lottery? They're not currently in a housing voucher program.
Thank you, Mayor Woods, Board Member Drummond. The answer to that is all of what we've discussed today with regard to the waitlist are brand new admissions and not porting from somewhere else.
Wow.
But simply applying from somewhere else, if that makes
Great.
sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Board Member Drummond. Any other comments or questions? All right. Hearing none, thank you so much. Really appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, Board Member Hodge.
I'm sorry. I want to ask you, are we getting more rentals from people, owners? Is that come up? Because I know that was one of the conversations that we had. They were having trouble finding people to rent their homes or their, apartments. Is that seem to be coming upwards since January, or are we still at the standstill where we're at before?
Thank you. Mayor Woods, Councilmember Hodge. While I don't have that data in front of me, intuitively, so we do have a housing navigator who actively reaches out to landlords new and folks that have never heard of our programming, as well as our reliable landlords. And intuitively, I would say because we've had over the last couple of months an increase of new vouchers being leased up in our market, that we do have additional landlords coming on board, but I do not have that data in front of me, but I would be happy to bring it. Additionally, council and executive leadership did approve a landlord engagement programming, which has not been implemented yet. I hope to bring on a new management analyst who will be leading that programming in the coming weeks. And so I anticipate a huge mountains being moved with that particular effort. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, any further comments or questions? All right, hearing none, thank you. Really appreciate it. That brings us to item number 6, which is adjournment. The next scheduled Tempe Housing Authority meeting is August 24th, 2023.